You ready to do this dance?
Yeah, let's do this.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dominic Demore, and thank you for tuning in to the second best thing you hear all week. We have a great show for you this evening, including top-notch film reviews, the latest movie news, and assorted thoughts and opinions, ranging from insightful to downright obnoxious. This is the I've Had Better Movies podcast. That's the thunder. Let's kick it off. James, what do you have for the fans this week?
My name is James Langos. Welcome to the show. Each week, Dom and I will give you, the fans, a review of film currently in theaters, or in the rare occurrence we can't afford to go to the movies that week, we will dig deep into our film libraries to break down an old great. This week's review is 10 Cloverfield Lane.
AKA my favorite movie of the year. Yeah.
We're just gonna pause for that.
I unabashedly love this movie. It blew me away every step of the way. I love the emotion that comes through. I love the real world grounding that it did, and the acting performances were beyond anything I was expecting. I mean, there's great actors in this movie. Mary Elizabeth Winstead has shown that she's got some real chops.
She's gorgeous, by the way.
Yeah. The other guy, I don't know his name.
John Gallagher Jr.
Yeah, not sure who he is. I haven't seen him in much. He did a good job. And John Goodman was fantastic. Like, this guy deserves an Oscar nomination for this role.
Yeah, he crushed it. He did awesome.
Yeah. I think he might end up getting it because he's a big enough name, and he'll be remembered come Oscar time, as long as the rest of the supporting actor, or I guess he might be the lead in this one, technically.
No, I think he'll get supporting.
So there's technically no male lead in this film?
Yeah, I don't think so.
That makes sense.
The problem that I have is, it came out in what, March?
March.
Is it going to make it the entire year and not get bumped by something else?
Probably not. Like, that's what I fear. Like, but I get why it was released now. Like, aside from Zootopia, it had no real competition, so it did well in the theaters, respectively. I mean, it was only made for $15 million, so
pretty darn cheap.
Yeah, coming in at 25 something this week. Basically, like, oh yeah, we killed it. They spent next to nothing on marketing. A month and a half ago, nobody even knew this movie was in production.
Yeah, so
that was awesome.
But the thing I enjoyed was it wasn't extremely long.
No,
the length was perfect.
Yeah, 100 minutes, I think.
Hour 43.
Yeah, so just over 100, 103.
It did kind of get to a certain point where she was, where Emmett and, what's her name in the movie? Michelle. It just kind of felt boring at times when they were just trying to figure out what was going on with John Goodman, because he's extremely creepy, and he does that fantastically.
Yeah, see, I understand why because it's a slow movie, like it's a slow burn, but initially, like that was a detractor for like my review. Like when I wrote it, I was gonna mark this a little lower than normal, or than what I ended up marking it. But that was because you think about it, and it feels like it falls into that movie trap where the first time we meet John Goodman's character, he gives zero explanation. He just says, "I saved you. That's all you need to know." Whereas in most of the time in the movies, in the real world, that's never how it would happen. Like, you would walk into that room and be like, "Listen, I did not kidnap you. You are safe. I mean you no harm. There was an attack." And then a further explanation. But with Goodman's performance being so good and so creepy, it made everything he did make sense. So when you don't get an explanation that first time out, it's like, you know what? I get it, because he's not seeing this as an issue. He's seeing this as something that...
What I was going to say is that John Goodman, he can't go into that room telling her that it's the end of the world, because I think she'll just freak out and not believe him even more so than just saying, "I saved you," because she just thinks she's saved from the accident to begin with. The accident in the beginning of the movie, she gets hit by a truck that you don't know whose it is.
Oh yeah, for the record, spoilers. massive spoilers for this review.
We're about a minute and a half late on that, but that's okay.
See, but we haven't given anything really away yet. We just talked about how everybody was awesome. But
fair enough.
Yeah. So, see, and I get that point. Like, you can't go in, like, all headstrong and all that. But in a normal situation, I'm going in with all the information. I'm going in and be like, hey, this happened. And then going straight up to show her the pigs.
Yeah, that's understandable,
but the fact that he's insane and
he's a sociopath.
Yeah, and like it works because it's like, no, I don't have to explain this to her. This is my place. I saved her. She should be eternally grateful to me
and respect you.
Exactly. So I thought it worked insanely well, and the fact that Winstead Michelle for the movie was skeptical the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Even
it made the audience feel skeptical.
Exactly. But like when she relaxes, it's like, okay, yeah, no, this totally makes sense. Like, this happened. And then you hear then she finds small clues and instantly is like, nope, never. Like, instead of going to the other guy and be like, I don't know what's going on, she's immediately like, no, we're screwed. This guy's crazy. Like, there's no, that it was so real world in that way. It wasn't fake movie because in a movie, she would have been like, wait till he's asleep and then I'll sneak into his room, sift through 3 drawers without making a sound. Yeah. And as I leave, I'll drop a nail. There was nothing in that. This was purely like, hey, we need to do this and then we're getting the fuck out.
Yep.
So I loved it so much. Really happy for Winstead because she's an actress who, the last big thing she did was Live Free or Die Hard. She plays John McClane's daughter in that movie, a.k.a. Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
So, I know she was the lead in the Thing remake in 2011, but aside from that, I can't tell you anything major she's done. But she's a great actress, and I hope this leads to her getting more mainstream things.
What I enjoyed was most about John Goodman is he can be calm at one point, and then the next second he's flipping out for something so minor that it's not even important. And I think he did a fantastic job just trying to act that way.
Yeah, it was extremely toddlerish.
Very much.
Where there was even moments where he would do odd hand things that you would think of when a child doesn't know how to express its rage.
They're throwing a tantrum.
Exactly. And it was haunting. I
have a feeling his mother didn't love him.
Yeah. I don't think so. But I really enjoyed it.
He didn't get enough hugs as a child.
No, or when he would be like, no touching.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, clearly, yep, that kid wasn't hugged as a child.
No, not once.
Yeah, so that was good. You want to just go straight into your rating?
Yeah, that's
unless
fine.
You have any other points.
No, I was just gonna say the ending kind of.
Yeah, let's talk. Okay, we'll talk about the ending.
Okay.
Trying not to give anything too specific away, but
I didn't like the ending.
You didn't?
No.
Which? Fuck it. Never mind. We're gonna ruin it. Which ending are you referring to? Are you referring to the very end, or are you referring to as soon as she gets out of the?
As soon as she gets out of the bunker, I did not like.
Really?
The very, very ending, I did like.
What? Okay, so as soon as she gets out of the bunker, as we already said, spoilers. If you haven't tuned out by now, you're screwed, and you're probably not going to see this movie anyway until it comes out on VHS.
Fair enough.
DVD, whatever. I still refer to all forms of at-home entertainment as VHS.
Or digital, whatever copy you're going to get.
But as soon as she gets out, you're still not sure at this point if there had been an attack. But she sees birds flying, and she's like, no, this place is safe. It was all a lie. And then she sees a spaceship flying in.
Yeah.
And
I enjoyed the suit that she made because she prepared for there being something wrong with the air. And I enjoy that she got out and took off her mask because she heard the birds chirping. Because that made you feel like that John Goodman was just messing with her the entire time and he just wanted to keep her. That was good. I had a problem with just the aliens. I don't know why, but it just didn't work for me. When the aliens came out, I was like, all right, this is stupid.
See, I loved it because it's one of those things where the entire time it's being set up to where it's like John Goodman's the bad guy. This isn't real. Like, and she was basically taken prisoner. Like, no attack ever happened. Yeah, I've got
no problem with all that.
Yeah.
That's all good.
And then the alien thing comes in where it's like, holy shit, this is happening. And what really turned it for me, because I understand, but when she gets out of the truck and stands up and she sees the
four-legged alien
/ spaceship, she has this moment where she's like, seriously? Like, as in a thing, it's like, I just survived that. I just was in a bunker and you're telling me it was all real?
Yeah.
Like, so that was what really brought it home for me, to where I was like, this is good. Plus, you also have to, like, the marketing part, that's where the aliens really came in. Because you could have done it where it wasn't actually just a terrorist attack, but...
Yeah, I was hoping North Korea was going to come out and...
But then the link back to Cloverfield, that gets destroyed. It also helps, James has not ever seen the first Cloverfield, which has to deal with an alien invasion that happens, and it's all real world kind of feel.
Yeah.
So
if I saw the first one, I probably wouldn't have felt this way.
Yeah. You still might not have loved it, but you would have been more inclined to be like, yeah, no, of course that happened. Like,
yeah.
I knew aliens were going to be there because it's called Number 10 Cloverfield Lane.
I agree. But
yeah. The one problem, the ending it falls off a little, but it has to, like we said, for the whole alien reason. One thing I did write about, the reason why this isn't a 10 for me, because I loved everything up to this point. But after she gets out, she turns into a bit of what's called a Mary Sue character. It's referred to when a character in a movie is too good at too many things too fast.
Yeah, she did pick up on some things quickly.
Yeah, because she's
What is she, a designer?
Yeah, she's not even a designer. We don't actually know what she does, but she had aspirations to be a designer.
That's true.
So suddenly that means, okay, she can fashion a hazmat suit basically out of
shower curtain.
And I mean, she does have a guidebook to do it, but the fact that you only have one shot and she got it perfectly right. So there's that. And then the killing of the monster with the perfectly thrown Molotov cocktail.
Yes.
That was a little rough.
I'm going to go a step back and just trying to steal the keys from John Goodman the first time and taking the beer bottle.
Yeah, well, he's a fat guy. We don't always have the best senses. But
and I've got nothing.
Yeah. We might have to make this a weekly thing for me and Jim, because we love to point out plot holes in movies, or it's like, okay, that would never happen. When the car that she eventually gets away in, when we first see it, it's because she is the first time Mary Elizabeth Winstead attempts to escape. You see it in the trailer. She gets to the door. She's looking out. This woman comes up who's clearly been infected by something. And this is the moment in the film when Winstead's like, oh my God, they were telling the truth. Like, something is going on out here. You see the car is on in the background with the lights on. So you're basically telling me that this woman who she says dies right in front of her somehow makes it into cabin shack right next to them and has her keys on her, and that car's battery isn't dead despite the fact that the lights were on when she saw it previously.
Maybe the lights have a long delay depending on what year and model.
If you are dying, are you really going to take your keys out and put them in your pocket?
Maybe she did it out of habit.
I highly doubt that happens when your flesh is rotting off of your face.
Maybe she didn't look in the mirror.
I lock my keys in my car every other week. Let alone if my face was being peeled off, I'm going to remember to put my keys in my purse.
You should really try and remember your keys more often.
I really should. It becomes a real hassle. The AAA guy, Jim, he's real cool, though.
You only get so many free ones.
Yeah, well. All right, so on to our ratings. What do you give the rating of this film?
I'm going to go with a 6.
That is on a scale of 1 to Good Will Hunting, as we're 6 episodes in, so we're not going to explain it every time to you, but we do a scale of 1 to 6, 1 to 10 for Good Will Hunting. Good Will Hunting is a 10, because it is the pinnacle of film, as we've stated previously. So, once again, your score?
Is a 6.
A 6, really? You're going lower than London Has Fallen?
Yes.
Wow.
I enjoyed London Has Fallen more.
Wow. This is one we're going to disagree on because I already gave it away. This is my favorite movie of the year so far, so I gave it a 9. 9. It is. This movie is better than Deadpool for me.
Nope, can't do it.
See?
Not even close.
It's a great thing about film. It's subjective, and Jimmy's allowed to be wrong.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with you about that, too.
It was absolutely...
Deadpool was so much better.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Deadpool was funnier. Deadpool was... It was not nearly as engaging as... It's also... The comedy is one of those things. You're going to feel better coming out of it. This was the better movie.
I think you went into this movie expecting something very bad.
I think...
Nope. Doesn't matter what you say from here on out. I think you went into it knowing nothing. Having a low expectation.
I think I had moderate expectation. You can't go into a movie with John Goodman and be like, no, this is going to suck. Man hasn't been in a shitty movie in 12 years.
Yeah, but who else is in it?
Mary Elizabeth Winstead. She's a good actress. She does a lot of good stuff.
She's okay.
Live Free or Die Hard was a good movie that they failed with by making it PG-13.
I agree. But she was not spectacular in it. I mean, she
was in it for like 15 minutes. She doesn't get a whole lot of acting
So how are you going to
work.
say she's going to be a good actress if she's
she
only in it
is.
for 15
I've
minutes?
seen her in several different things. The Thing remake, not as bad as people think.
I didn't see The Thing, though.
She was also like 12. Not really. She was like 22, but whatever. She's a young girl. She's been acting for a while. Get over it, Jim.
Whatever, man.
It was great. It was deserved a 9. You're insane. Your rating system is everywhere. You're blasphemous.
A 9? Next to Good Will Hunting. It is one step below Good Will Hunting.
One step below.
You're suicidal.
Oh, because Deadpool is only one step away from Good Will Hunting?
On a certain level, yeah.
Okay, well, on a certain level, this is. When John Goodman you don't even see it, pulls out that gun and blows that dude's head away, you weren't like, holy shit, it happened. Like, I did not see that coming.
Yeah, but that doesn't make it a 9.
No, but it's engaging. John Goodman's performance is amazing.
It is.
Every step of the way, you don't know what to think.
It is engaging.
Like, I knew they were going to be aliens at the end, and there were still moments where I was like, holy shit, is he telling the truth? Is he crazy? Like, did he do this not knowing there are aliens out there?
I agree to disagree.
You feel for every character in this movie. The emotion, the message it sends, that little thing they do where they talk about regrets, and then the play on the ending where she can either go to suspected freedom or she can say, screw it, I just survived in a hole with John Goodman for 3 months, and I survived a single alien attack. I'm going to fuck these motherfuckers up.
Yeah, that part was cool. I did enjoy that part. I just don't think it was a 9.
Blasphemous.
All right.
You don't have to...
You could talk me into a 7, maybe.
You don't have to agree to a 9. Film is subjective. But a 6, this movie was better than London Has Fallen. The first 40 minutes of London Has Fallen was
You
garbage.
could talk me into a 7, damn it.
Well, technically, you should be at minimum 7.1.
No.
Absolutely.
Equal.
It is not... London Has Fallen.
It would be equal. I don't know. Maybe I just went into London Has Fallen with low expectations.
Probably did.
Like, really low.
Yeah. All right. We're going to agree to disagree. Let us know what you guys thought of the movie if you went and saw it. Either tell Jim that he's wrong or just confirm that I'm right. Either one, your choice. By sending us a tweet to @IHB Podcast, or just throw on the end of your tweet #IHB Movies, or you can even just send us an email to ihbpodcast@gmail.com.
For top news this week, we have 4 stories, and we're going to start with the webheads everywhere are rejoicing as this past week Marvel released the newest trailer for Captain America: Civil War, unveiling the friendly neighborhood wall crawler for the first time in the MCU. Dom, give us your opinion on both Spider-Man and the trailer as a whole.
It was good. In the moment, I was excited. Like, obviously,
did you know Spider-Man was coming?
There had been rumors that we were going to get a new trailer and that it was going to feature Spider-Man. And then I had the news spoiled, I guess you want to say, because I was scrolling through Facebook and somebody posted a picture of Spider-Man, and I was like, I know that's not from the first two movies, and that doesn't look like some fan drawing. Oh, did they drop the trailer just now? So it was, yeah. So
you kind of knew.
I knew. But so I'll start off with Spider-Man. I dig his design. In the trailer itself, he's a little bit too animated. I wonder if it's just a rush job by the studio, because
you look very animated.
Yeah. I'm sure it'll be better in the film. If not, that's going to be a major disappointment. But like I said,
I mean, do we know? We probably don't know, but how big of a part is he going to have?
There's varying reports. He is not a main player, but he's also supposedly not a cameo. So he's involved, but
once or twice.
Yeah, because for those of you who don't know, in the Civil War comic, Spider-Man plays a huge role, because he the main story behind Civil War is there's a superhero registration act where no more secret identities exist, and the Avengers and really all superheroes in the comic book, because there's like 60 people on each side, split into two groups: pro registration act and against. Spider-Man, being one of the famous secret identity because he's only a kid, he's Peter Parker, originally sides with Tony Stark, and on the side where it's like, hey, we're going to reveal my identity. Major plot points, he ends up getting the shit kicked out of him. He gets a really cool Iron Spider suit, which they've already said they're probably not going to do it in this film. I hope they're just sandbagging, because it looks awesome. I'll make sure to post a picture when I do the web about it. But yeah, the Iron Spider outfit is awesome. So the rumor is, since when they started filming, they didn't have the rights to Spider-Man, most of that arc is going to now be diverted to Black Panther, which is still cool, because it's the first time we're seeing him. Same basic storyline. Like, he's not a kid or anything, but in this universe, nobody knows his identity, I'm assuming. So, that's the problem with Civil War, is everybody's identity is known, like in the current Avenger lineup. Everybody knows who Hawkeye is. He doesn't wear a mask. Scarlet Witch doesn't wear a mask. Tony Stark wears a mask, but he told everybody he's Iron Man. Everybody knows Steve Rogers is Captain America, so it gets very difficult to do this storyline if everybody knows who everybody is. So it's going to be Spider-Man and Black Panther who are the ones that are like, oh, we don't actually know who these people are. So they're probably going to have to change it slightly, but I'm looking forward to it. What are your initial thoughts?
I'm excited to see Spider-Man back in movies. I think because he's always been sort of by himself.
Yeah.
And it'll be cool to see him together with other superheroes. I hope he's not that animated, because I really don't like that.
Yeah, neither do
I like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. I think he's probably my favorite, the way he looks.
Yeah. Although I hope they keep the mask. I just don't want the rest of him to look so animated.
Yeah, I agree. You still need the mask.
Yeah, because in this iteration, they finally are doing where the mask isn't just a mask. The eyes actually move and adjust. If you saw Deadpool, much like that movie did, where it's a mask and it's real, but the eyes and stuff are more digitally overlaid so that he can express more emotion while behind the mask.
Yeah, that would be perfect if it was like Deadpool's.
Yeah, as far as the suit itself, it's based mainly off of the Steve Ditko style from back in the 1960s. The color paneling and size of the spider looks very much like that. Some additions that we haven't seen before. It looks like he's got a utility belt kind of thing on him, so most likely that'll hold the web cartridges. So this won't be like Tobey Maguire where the webs are actually in his wrist, which I like. It's traditional. Up until the movies, Spider-Man didn't have it coming out of him, so I'm fine with that. Nothing major there, like small stuff. The only thing different from the Steve Ditko drawing is in the classic Spider-Man, he has like kind of wings under his arm that are made out of spider webs. There's no inkling of that in this version, but overall, I liked it. Like you said, hope it gets it's not as animated come film time. What about the trailer itself? You have any thoughts on that?
It seemed kind of the same as the other ones.
It really did. Like, there was not a whole lot. There was a couple of bonus things, and I thought this trailer put Tony Stark in the best light. Because you see his best friend Rhodey get taken down, and whether he dies or not, you're like that. And there, you see some real acting from Downey Jr. in this trailer. Like, there are moments where his eyes look like they're welling up, and where, like, he gets really angry. So, it makes...
I thought you see Rhodey in Tony's arms in the other trailer too.
You do, but you don't see how he was taken out in those other ones. In this one, you see that it's actually, well, in the trailer cut, it could be something completely different in the movie, like either a sabotage or something different, but it looks like the Winter Soldier, Bucky Barnes, Sebastian Stan, all three of those movies. Sebastian Stan's the actual actor, for those of you who are interested, is shooting some kind of rocket launcher / beam that grazes the front of him and takes out that power core, and he plummets to Earth.
Yeah.
So, really, I'm looking forward to it. If they didn't reveal Spider-Man in this trailer, it would have felt like, all right, what do they add? But obviously, Spider-Man gives it a giant kick. Connecting back to our review of 10 Cloverfield Lane, The Hollywood Reporter has said that John Goodman has been cast in the upcoming Peter Berg-directed film Patriot's Day. The movie revolves around the infamous 2013 Boston Marathon bombing and the ensuing manhunt. James, knowing that Mark Wahlberg is already cast as the lead for the film, and further rumors saying J.K. Simmons is also attached, what are your thoughts on Goodman and the film overall?
Like you said earlier, John Goodman hasn't really been in a bad film in quite a while. So in that aspect, that is good for the film. Peter Berg is a good enough director that I think he's going to do a good job with the film. I'm a little curious just what Mark Wahlberg's role is going to be.
Rumor has it he's a police officer.
I was going to say he's either a police officer or a fireman.
Yeah, rumor has it that all three of these characters are police officers. Goodman is supposed to be a chief. Simmons is supposed to be an officer. And Wahlberg is supposed to be an officer.
Okay, I like that. That makes sense to me. So it's going to be in the perspective of a police officer, most of the film then. Mm-hmm. With that being said, I think, to try and make a movie from the Boston Marathon bombing is, it's just like as bad of an event as it actually is. It makes sense that they're trying to make a movie about it.
See, and that's where it loses me. I don't want this movie.
Yeah, but they did 9/11 movies.
Yeah, and I didn't want those either. I
don't think anyone wants them. But
and they were also bad.
It's a story that
it also helps those. The 9/11 movies were bad.
Yeah, but it's a story that I think people want to see.
Is it really though?
Because they don't want it just to be nothing. True. Nothing after it.
But this seems like something that... Because is the trial even over yet?
He was convicted on April 8th, 2015 and sentenced to death on May 15th, 2015.
Oh, what do you know? I'm just wondering if... And also, I'm curious what this movie's going to be about. Because...
It'll probably be a police officer... maybe having his family watching the race, and he's there. He might not actually be there, and it might be him coming to see if his family's okay, and then start to help everyone after he realizes everything is what's going on. I think Mark Wahlberg's family is going to be involved. Not his personal family, but the character's family.
Yeah, but that's what I'm worried about. Like, how much do you have to manipulate this story in order to make it a decent film? Because the story itself is absolutely tragic, and the events that occurred were horrible. But story-wise, so when the actual bombing occurs, you assume it'll be 20 minutes in, maybe?
Could be. Could be 20, half hour.
Because otherwise, if it's any further than that, then you're going to have Wahlberg knowing about it somehow and trying to track it down, because there's...
Trying to stop it?
Yeah.
But
you can't do that because it's not... You can't do anything before the bomb goes off. And then the manhunt itself was for 2 people. So instantly you're going to have to age the people a little bit or make them multiple, like as an entire group instead of like 2 lone wolf people.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things that they probably shouldn't have done it, but they're going to.
Yeah, no, I get why they are. It's just one of those things, being so close to it, it's one of those things like...
Was it 3 years later?
By the time when it comes out, it'll be 4 years later. So it's one of those things where it's like, you're never going to forget it, but the closer you are, the more you're going to be like, wait a second, that's not how it happened. Like, pretty sure this manhunt went on for like 8 hours and they eventually found them. Like, it's not like...
Yeah, they were in their house or something.
No, they weren't in their house, but they were in a neighborhood and they eventually caught the guy because one man was shot down and killed and the other one was taken, also shot up, but because he was hiding in somebody's boat in their backyard. But so it's one of those things where so you can't do like multiple shootouts or anything like that. So I'm just wondering, film wise, like why it just...
Who knows? I mean, I think we need...
Like, I know Mark Wahlberg's probably doing it for the right reasons. I know Peter Berg is doing it for probably the right reasons, but...
I mean, if you just look at their past, Peter Berg, Lone Survivor.
Yeah.
The next one he's going to do is Patriots Day.
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg's in both of those movies.
Yeah. And Mark Wahlberg from Boston, obviously. Like, so, I get it. It's just...
Is it needed? Probably not.
Yeah, so I'm saying I don't want to see this movie. It's just one of those things. All right, next topic.
Continuing with casting news, it appears the Kingsman sequel is eyeing former Oscar winner Halle Berry for a role in the upcoming film. Rumors have said that Berry is in talks to play an American government agent. So, Dom, taking this into consideration, yay or nay on Berry's casting?
Nay.
Let's hear it.
This is going to be a short topic for me because, first of all, Berry hasn't been in a good movie in years. Second of all,
agreed.
Last time that she played a secret agent was
Swordfish.
Die Another Day. Yeah, that piece of garbage, which she was useless in, and for some reason had a fight with Rosamund Pike on the back of a plane. Whatever.
Yeah, but she's so hot. And she's from Bedford.
Yeah. I'm not biased, James. I'm looking at this from a purely film's perspective. She is an unnecessary casting. She's an Oscar winner, but not lately. Her acting performance has gone downhill. I
think she's just looking for checks right now.
Most likely. And I think it's just like you fill this role with somebody else, it'll be probably just as good. Are they going to make her be like the straight character where she's like all business, no nonsense? Are they going to make her play sexy to play off of Taron Egerton? Either one, I don't really want to see because I don't think she can pull off the straight character anymore. Like, I need her in more comedic roles, which this could be, but at that point, why bother? Just bring in somebody who's actually comedic. And then...
And how big of a role is she actually going to have in the film? Is it going to be quick or is it... It's going to be too much.
Yeah, like it might just be casting for namesake. So
could be.
I am dropping this like it's hot.
I really want to see the movie too, though.
So do I, and especially because they've already. It also helps. There's been reports that Julianne Moore is being cast. Has been cast. We've talked about that before. And
as a villain, right?
Yeah, and she's gonna act circles around Halle Berry and make her look even worse. So
yeah. What
about you? Yay or nay?
Yay, because it's... No, I can't do that. Nay, because I don't care. I was going to say yay because it's a Kingsman movie and I want to see it, but nay on her being in the role.
Yeah. I think that's enough on that one.
Yeah, that was long enough.
And our last news story for the week features director David Ayer and actor Will Smith, who are both currently involved with the much-anticipated Suicide Squad film, set to hit theaters this August. Now it appears we know what their next project may be. Netflix has purchased the rights to Bright. While not much is known about the actual project, we do know that opposite of Will Smith, Joel Edgerton is set to star. And director likens the movie to End of Watch, but set in a world where fairies and goblins are real. James, thoughts on the Netflix film?
I do like that Netflix has picked up the film. I think that gives David Ayer more control, not having to deal with studios. Of course, anything Will Smith is in is something you'd like to see. Joel Edgerton is also good. I'm a little weary on what he thinks it's going to be like, and End of Watch meets Fairies and Goblins. Of course, Will Smith is doing another sci-fi movie, which makes sense because that's all he does, except for Concussion, which comes out every 7 years for him. But just the Fairies and Goblins, we'll see how it goes with that.
Yeah, like you said, rumor has it that why this ended up going to Netflix is David Ayer had a budget in his head that he wanted to make this movie for, and the studios weren't willing to meet that, and Netflix stepped in and was like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, Netflix doesn't care.
Yeah, they got buku bucks right now. But it does add a level of legitimacy to Netflix. Because in the past, while they have done their own independent feature movies, they have that 6-picture deal with Adam Sandler, which I bet they're regretting right now. But getting stars like Will Smith and Joel Edgerton and at the moment all-star director like David Ayer to do one of your films, that's outstanding. So I'm actually looking forward to it. I am a fan of the sci-fi, so I like the idea. I do worry, and some other podcasts I listen to, like I think it's been brought up a few times on Collider Movie Talk, they worry that it's going to go too close to R.I.P.D.
Which did not do well.
No, it did not.
Weirdly enough, a Ryan Reynolds film.
Yeah, most of his movies bomb. For some odd reason. But, I mean, I didn't hate that film. It was fine. It wasn't very good. But I think this will be a grittier, better version. Next up, we have the box office battle. A competition for bragging rights between friends who want nothing more than to prove that they know more than the other guy. And of course, who buys the first round of drinks for this week. How the game works is each week, my co-host and I will predict the top 5 films of the box office. Whoever gets the closest to the correct order wins the points for that week. This week's box office results are as follows. Remaining in first place and only dropping an outstanding 33% was Zootopia, raking in a monster second week total of $50 million. Following in second place was newcomer 10 Cloverfield Lane with $25.2 million. Taking third place with yet another double-digit box office earning weekend was Deadpool with $10.8 million, followed closely by London Has Fallen in fourth place, earning $10.6 million. Rounding out the top 5 was Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, earning $4.6 million in its second week. One special spot of note was the number 8 spot, which was the Brothers Grimsby, earning just $3.2 million. That makes for a massive flop. James, tell the people who won this week and how many he got right out of the potential 5 correct answers. And then also give us your thoughts on this week's box office and your picks for next week.
I got to give it to Dom. He did well this week.
Well,
very well.
Yeah, is that it?
5 for 5.
5 for 5?
Almost unheard of.
Did I get the first one right?
You did.
What about the second one?
You did.
The third one?
You did.
The fourth one?
Mm-hmm.
Even the fifth one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
What part of 5 for 5 did you understand?
Hey,
that's 100%.
I just want to make you relive it. It's been a long 3 weeks, Jim. I have to soak this up while I can. Came back in a big way.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I was that far off either.
Yes, I do have to give Jim credit for he got the bookends. He got the number 1 and the number 5. He just jumbled up that middle section a little bit.
And it happens.
Yeah. See? Too much faith in London Has Fallen. That your problem.
That could be. Yeah. I love Gerard Butler. He's still my Leonidas.
Yeah. But just from some stats for you guys for this week. Like I said in the read, Zootopia only dropping off 33%. That is insane. Most movies love Like, to get a 40% drop, and this one only dropped 33%. Mega numbers. Number 10, Cloverfield Lane. We mentioned it earlier, rumored $15 million budget, so it already made all of that back and then some. And right now on Rotten Tomatoes is at 91%. So a lot of people are digging that movie. Deadpool, with this weekend, breaks into the top 10 of highest grossing comic book films of all time. And top 10, you're getting into really hallowed ground, considering there's Avengers and Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises, which are 3 of the top grossing films of all time, let alone comic book films. So that's pretty impressive. London Has Fallen, 50% drop off. Not great. Brings that domestic total to 38 million. I think they're around like 70 million right now. Globally, they probably still have some markets to open up in, so they'll earn their money back, it looks like. And then Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, one that we both were curious about what their second week would be, because Tina Fey has such a track record of staying, dropping off 38%.
Which isn't bad.
Not bad. It's also not great, though, considering I think their budget's around 35, 36 million. That makes their domestic total right now 14 million. And this isn't a type of movie that's going to do well overseas. So I think it might struggle to make its money back at this point. If they would have done another 7 million this week, I think it would have been good, because that would have put them right around like 17 to 18 million, half your budget back in America. Probably earn like 3 or 4 million next week off of those numbers. It would have been interesting. But Brothers Grimsby, the special note I threw on the end. James and I are smarter than a lot of the movie critic community, because neither one of us put this in our top 5. A lot of people thought that Sacha Baron Cohen of Borat and Bruno fame was going to be able to pull this out, but I went and saw this movie. It was not good. It was stupid funny. So if you like those movies, you're going to enjoy the film. But yeah, it was a bomb. Reported $35 million budget, only making $3 million opening weekend. And even worse, only making $1,409 per screen. That is horrible numbers, considering Zootopia, over 10 grand per screen.
Yeah, this is the time that I would like to tell the studio that you guys are a bunch of idiots. This movie should have never been made. I don't care what you promised Sacha Baron Cohen, but no.
Yeah, massive flop. And like, there's not really a whole lot you can say about that.
Yep. What are your picks this week?
My picks for this week are as follows. It's a little bit of an interesting week, because there's the next Divergent series film that's jumping in, but it's not getting great It's not getting great word of mouth. Their returns have been declining. Like, their first one made the most money, and the next one didn't make nearly as much. But I am still going with the Divergent series Allegiant #1.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to beat out. I don't think like Zootopia is going to beat it out in its third week.
Yeah, it's going to be rough.
It's not. I don't think there's enough to do.
Yeah, because considering even a 10% drop off for Zootopia puts it at 45 million, and you have to assume a franchise film like that is going to pull in 40 something million. If it doesn't, it's going to be considered a flop. In second place, I do have Zootopia. I don't think it's going to drop off far. It's probably going to do like another 30 to 40%, which is still going to put it right around 35 million area. So, yeah.
Which is crazy.
Mm-hmm. In the third spot, I have number 10, Cloverfield Lane. As much as I love this movie, as I talked about before, I am curious how it's going to do with staying power. Because I think a lot of it was built on that marketing where it's like, I have no idea what this movie's about, but it's intriguing. And now you get more and more people like
talking about it.
There's going to be spoilers online. Like, I tried to avoid as many spoilers as I could in my written version, but clearly you guys heard us. We talked a whole bunch of spoilers in our audio version. So I think it's probably not going to have the same staying power as a movie this good deserves. In number 4, I have Deadpool. Still staying around in that top 5. And number 5, I have a movie called Miracles from Heaven. It's a Jennifer Garner semi-religious film, but it's opening in a ton of theaters. And we saw a few weeks ago with the movie Risen that it has a following, and you only have to make, like this week, $5 million puts you in the 5 hole. So yeah. I think it's easily going to do that money. Especially considering it opens on Wednesday. We have to figure out if those numbers will go into our totals, but we'll probably just do the 3-day weekend.
I'm pretty sure you can pick dates on...
Yeah, you can. Just something to look into.
Yeah.
What are your picks?
They aren't going to differ much, honestly.
Yeah, we're coming down to one spot, so this one's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Number 1, Divergent. Number 2, Zootopia. Number 3, 10 Cloverfield Lane. Number 4, Miracles from Heaven. And number 5, Deadpool.
Solid lineup.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
The only reason I'm putting Miracles from Heaven on at 4 is because it's opening in how many theaters?
3,000, I believe.
3,000, which is quite a big number. And then it is coming out on Wednesday.
Now it's time for Tough Questions, a segment dedicated to getting answers to life's most interesting quandaries. Like, if Superman has heat vision, does he still own a microwave? And giving you, the fans, the opportunity to ask us questions to encourage intense debate that could ruin our friendship. If you would like to send us a question, just tweet us using the hashtag IHBmovies or send us an email to ihbpodcast@gmail.com. Jim, I got a question for this week.
Let's hear it.
All right, a couple weeks ago, Tom Hiddleston was being interviewed for a BBC series he's doing. And the idea of him playing Bond jumped up. And to be honest, I had never really crossed my mind that he was an option. I don't know why, because I think he fits tremendously. Yeah. But I think I had been so focused in on other candidates that I'm now intrigued by it, and I actually wouldn't mind seeing it. So what I thought we could do for Tough Questions is, I know one of the other leading candidates that the fans want to see is Idris Elba.
My boy.
Yeah.
Stringer bell.
Well, the other reason is Jimmy's a huge Idris Elba fan. So I thought it'd be cool if maybe you take Idris Elba, I'll take Tom Hiddleston, and we both give examples and reasons why our guy should be the next James Bond.
Let's do this dance.
All right. Would you like to go first or second?
Second.
All right. Kind of saw that one coming. All right. So my first argument for Tom Hiddleston is he is a Bond we haven't seen before. He is... Well, I'm not saying he's effeminate. He does have a little bit more of a smoother edge. Like, he's not the one who you see. He's not the Sean Connery who's like, oh, I'll take you back to my room, woman, and I'll slap the panties off you. Because he actually does hit women in those movies. I don't know if you know that. Dirty little secret of old James Bond.
It's not just in movies.
While Pierce Brosnan, and I'm not going to get into the bonds in between him and Brosnan because, to me, they all suck. For record, my Bond list goes Connery, Craig, Brosnan. If anybody wants to debate me on that, come at me, bro. At Don DeMore on Twitter.
Yeah. Or an email. Would be nice.
Yeah, that too. But so he gives a different look. He's smooth, but he's also like soft spoken, and he's not the gritty bare knuckle fighter that Craig kind of displays. So I would really like to see that form. He's the skinny tie wearing Bond for the 21st century.
I'm gonna argue that immediately, because if you want a Bond that you haven't seen, Idris Elba's the choice for sure. One, he's black and English, and he's like a street English. The only problem is he's more of a Daniel Craig, I think, Bond, because he's a big guy.
Yes,
and he's got that street vibe to him. which a lot of people that are fans of the James Bond franchise will argue that he is too street for the role of James Bond.
Yeah, he's not proper enough. Yeah, the writer or the person behind the writer's estate recently came out and said that, and it made major headlines. But I can't disagree with the fact that.
Thank you.
Yeah, and in full honesty, up until I read this article,
you wanted it.
I wanted Idris Elba, and if Idris Elba gets cast, I'm going to be ecstatic because I think that's a tremendous choice. But given what's been reported, and Idris Elba says, like, yeah, I want to do it, but if you people keep talking about it, it's not going to happen because the studio's going to be like, hey, no.
Yeah. Plus, at that point, it's an easy choice, and it's not something, it's something everyone expected.
Yeah.
So they're not going to do it for that reason.
Yeah. The other reason Tom Hiddleston, I think, would be good, you have seen him with, he plays a great villain.
I agree.
Idris Elba also plays a great villain, but Idris Elba is a little. His villain is never really. I don't want to say scary, but
Which character are you referring to?
Anyone. The only two times that I can recall he's played a true villain was Stringer Bell, which you can call a villain.
He's more of an antagonist.
Yeah, it's really a gray area. He's a criminal. The main characters of those movies are cops, and it
depends which season.
True. And in the movie The Losers, which was a comic book adaptation from a few years ago with...
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he plays a villain in that. So those are the only two instances that I know about it. So I think that dark side could really be something that Hiddleston plays off of. And because Bond isn't squeaky clean. He does what needs to be done. At least the Bonds we've seen recently, and if anything is shown with the success of these Bonds, you have to keep going in that dark version, but I think something different will be intriguing.
I agree. What direction do you think they're really going to go with? I feel like they've done almost everything with Bond. It's gotten to the point where it's like, okay, some other crazy dude wants to take over the world.
I think
and there's a girl involved.
Okay. It all depends. It truthfully all depends on who gets cast. Which the direction they go is gonna largely depend on that. Because if they go somebody like Tom Hiddleston, it's going to be a bit more. They're gonna go more suave and probably not as physical. They might make him even more less of a bare knuckle brawler, like I said, and more of a tactician type thing. Or he might be a better marksman or something like that, like a John Wick kind of thing, where he does gun fu. If they go Idris Elba, I think it's a little too close to Craig, so that's the main reason, because I think they're very similar.
Tom Hiddleston just feels like a nerd to me.
I get that, yeah. And trust me,
he's going to be some computer geek in a Bond movie, and that's just going to frustrate me.
Yeah. Perfect world. Idris Elba becomes Bond. Tom Hiddleston becomes the villain, and we have the next 3 movies as just those two against each other.
I agree. Yeah. That would be ideal.
So that was tough questions for the week. Let us know what you guys think. Do you want Tom Hiddleston? Do you want Idris Elba? Is there some third wild card? Tweet at us. Do whatever you have to. Find us in the middle of the street, preferably James, because I don't like to be accosted. But whatever you got to do.
Maybe we should do another Twitter poll.
Yeah, and that way the
first one went so well.
It did, and maybe because this way we can get 4 responses.
Yeah.
Although this one would probably elicit more response because you'd be like, "Oh, it's James Bond."
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll definitely throw one up on there. Probably throw it up Thursday, day after this gets posted. It'll be good, or tomorrow for all of you who are listening first day. All right, well that was our show for this week. Thank you all for tuning in. If you enjoyed the show, please like this episode and subscribe to the I've Had Better Podcast Network. Also, follow us on Twitter at IHB Podcast, and on Facebook, go like the I've Had Better Podcast page. Jim, tell the people how to find you.
I am on Twitter, and my handle is at the _ Kaiser _Soze. And I am also on Facebook, and it is Jimmy Langos. And don't forget to check out the website. The website is www.ihbpodcast.com.
Exactly. And I am Dominic Demore. You can follow me on Twitter at DomDemore or on Facebook at Dominic Demore. James, how was your show this week?
I've had better.
Good night, everybody.